Red Room. 6 million stories in the streets. Nigga don't hustle, don't eat. Nope. I swam with the sharks and danced with the freaks. Got coke from the Cubans and smoke with the chiefs. Repeat.
Live on stage, that sound.
Orlando!
So, is they ready?
Yes.
That sound.
Orlando!
You know. What's going on, party people? What is going on? This is your boy Rome, live and direct. This is the Soul Show, aka the Sound of Orlando Show. Welcome to Orlando, folks. This is where we talk to our peoples, not only here in our city, but abroad. And we talk about this thing of ours called the culture of hip hop. We talk about real things, real life, what people are going through. We like to humanize our people when they're on the show and actually just give a real insight to what people are thinking while they're doing this beautiful thing of ours called hip hop and so on and so forth. Our sponsors of tonight are the legendary Jesse Jazz and 5-Star Graphics. If you know who this man is in our city, he is a legendary DJ, legendary promoter, and a legendary graphic artist. If you need any kind of graphic work, graphic design, business cards, flyers, t-shirts, the man does it all. Look him up, 5stargraphics.com. Also, our sponsor of the night is Red Rum. They're dropping a new album out here in these streets. It is called Mark of the Beast. We'll be world premiering that video here on Friday night at 6 p.m. So if you know anything about this legendary dynamic duo in the city, we're talking about bars. They're amazing, legendary in these streets for a long time. They do not play when it comes to this music, and I'm very honored to be world premiering their video here on Friday. Shout outs to them. Shout outs to that whole movement. Red Rum, Heister Flow, all of them, Warheads, you name it. These guys have been putting in work for a long time. When that project drops, please go out and support that movement and that energy and what they're doing. Like I said, Red Rum at AOD.com. Now, I also want to make a couple of announcements. Shouts out for everybody that's been out here, supporting the social movement in the form of T-shirts. We want to document this moment. Can nobody say this never happened in the city? We are putting this city on our map. We're trying to get everything in this city out so the people can know, make well-sound decisions on why they should support our city, why we should support our city, and put that out for the world to see. So I want to say thank you to everyone that's been in support of that. And as well, I do want to also send shouts out to anybody going through something right now. That there's people that you could call, there are friends that you could call, there are strangers you could call. Know that you're not alone. You don't have to suffer by yourself. There's many people out here that, are trying to be the hero of their own movie. There's no such thing. Those heroes die in the end. We need unity. We need to be together as a family. So reach out to your people. And also, people, don't be afraid to ask somebody how are they doing and actually want to listen. There's many people going through something. Make sure that you treat people the way you want to be treated. And, hey, let's make this world a better place. It starts with us, okay? So now, this next guest that I got coming on tonight represents this thing of ours called hip-hop. He's been doing it well out of the world-famous Flint, Michigan. He has been doing his thing. He's worked with Dr. Dre, Eminem. He was on Aftermath. He's on one of the legendary soundtracks, Compton, as well as the games, the documentary 2.5. He is continuing to do work. He's got a brand new label, and he's got new artists that he's working on. He's an extraordinary MC and record producer, the man, the myth, the legend, and he's just getting started. Give it up for my brother from another mother, representing that Flint, that MC breed, all that. my man, Jon Connor. What's
What's
good?
up, man? What's going on, bro?
Man, welcome to the show, my brother.
Peace, King. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
You already know, man. We got to talk, family. This is what we do out here, man. We build and we build, and that's what we do. We build, man. Welcome to Orlando, my brother.
Man, it's good. It's good to be back. You know, Orlando like a second home to me, man. I went to Full Sail back in 2003. So
Wow.
the Orlando Winter Park area, that was my home, man, for a good minute, man.
Man, talk about it. My man MIM put me on to that today, and I was like, what? No, I ain't know he went to Full Sail. No, I ain't know he was in Orlando and, you know, calling out the streets in the area. Shout out to Winter Park. You already know.
Cimarron, I stayed in, I think it was called like Cimarron Park Place or something like that. Because it's been a minute, but that's definitely that's definitely a street there, right? Cimarron Boulevard.
Cimarron Boulevard, 436. You already know.
Yeah, definitely.
Man, that's the east side. We consider that the east side of town, and yeah, man, a lot of people that came through Full Sail. Shout out to Full Sail and what they've done for our people. You know, inspiring people to get into music, to learn, you know, and just bring people down here to kind of, you know, network with other people that are locals here. I think Full Sail has really done more on that end than on the degree end, because for a lot of people, you know, there would have been those networks or connections had Full Sail not be there to connect people.
Yeah, that's a fact, bro. I definitely didn't get my degree from Full Sail.
Oh man, look at that!
But I definitely met a lot of people that I'm still like that are still, near and dear friends of mine that I met after. Damn, excuse me. I'm sorry. I just got done drinking this. This is the best thing ever. It's sparkling ice. So sorry, y'all. But yeah, man. Some of the best friends I ever had, is like far as in the music business, I met at Full Sail. You know what I'm saying? So like you said, it's about the networking and the connections that you meet there, man. Like it's definitely your first introduction to how the music business is, in the sense of how important it is to network, meet people, and keep in contact with people, because you never know like who might end up at what studio, who might get what opportunities. So Full Sail was the first time it taught me to get out of my shell, get out there, go meet people, talk to people that you never met before, because you never know.
And how did you hear about Full Sail from Flint? Or were you already down here?
No, it was I learned about it from the back of the Source and XXL magazines. So yeah, I'm an old head. I'm 36 years old. So when I was yeah, so that's how I got put on the Full Sail, man. Like I was buying all the hip hop magazines, and so you know everybody was going to college. You know, everybody was looking into different colleges. You know, you about to graduate and all of that type of thing. And I knew that music was what I wanted to do, and I didn't want to go to a regular 4-year college. I wanted to, you know, music was my passion. So it's like if I'm gonna go somewhere, you know, for higher learning or try to extend my education, it's like I wanted to be in music. So right. I seen Full Sail in the back of that Source or XXL, whichever one it was, and I was on the first thing smoking, man.
Man, talk about advertising. Look at Full Sail, man, on Source magazine or XXL. I mean, that just tells you, man, how important it is to kind of, you know, not be scared and stay on your block. You went to a whole new place to, you know, get some education, to meet some brand new people, and you took a chance on yourself. And like you said, some of the most valuable things that you took from there were not necessarily the degree, but the people that you met. And we definitely got an eclectic amount of people down here.
Absolutely, man. And yeah, man, being from Flint, man, getting on that airplane and going to Full Sail, you know, it was definitely a gamble. I definitely, of course, was scared, but I feel like I've always felt like you have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations in order to bring the best out of yourself. You know, the enemy of success is being comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you force yourself or put yourself in uncomfortable situations, that's when you're going to really find out who you are, and that's going to force you to you know, step up, and it's going to force you to be the best you can be. You know what I'm saying? You ain't never gonna get nowhere being comfortable. So it's like going to Full Sail was me making myself uncomfortable and putting myself in a situation where I had to succeed. Where it's like, okay, I'm all these miles away from home. Mommy and daddy ain't here. I'm away from all my family. I gotta make this work. So it was a beautiful thing, man.
Dope. Now, talking about where you were coming from, let's take it back to Flint, Michigan, and what legendary music has come out of there over the years, and what made you become this person that we know now in hip hop, coming out of Flint, Michigan? How did things get started for you?
It got, the funny thing about that is, I think the first rap song I can remember ever like knowing the words to might have been "Ain't No Future in Your Frontin'" by MC Breed. You know what I mean? And, yeah, and that came from my sister. My sister, just for the record, my sister was the big hip hop fan before I was. You know what I mean? Like I was just a fan of all music. I didn't have one particular genre that I cared for over the other. But she was the one that brought Breed and DJ Quick and you know what I'm saying? And man, who else was she listening to? UGK and Boss and Tupac and Biggie, like, you know what I'm saying? And Nas and DMX. She was the one bringing all of that into the house. And so, like I said, I was just a music dude in the beginning, but my sister, man, she was just own it. And how it got started for me was I knew I had a love for music, but I didn't know in what way I was going to be able to express that passion, because at the time I didn't rap, you know what I'm saying? So what happened with me was, I was going to school and dudes would be freestyling on the bus or whatever. And I remember my homeboys would always try to throw me the mic, but I couldn't rap. And so I remember one day I just went home and I wrote 2 bars, and I wrote 2 bars that to me was hot. It is not, mind you, this is like 96. I'm in like the 6th grade, and I'm thinking that these is the craziest 2 bars I ever wrote in my life. I got on the bus the next day. They passed me the mic. I spit them 2 bars, and the bus went crazy. So after that, it was like, this is what I want to do. And you add that on top of the fact that I can remember my sister, she had the TRU CD, True to the Game, Masterpiece, Silk the Shocker, and C Murder.
Yes.
And when she brought that TRU, True to the Game CD home, mixed with the fact that dudes on the bus was trying to battle me, that was it. Like when I heard No Soldiers for the first time, that's what made me want to be a rapper, along with that time on the bus when I spit those 2 bars and I seen the reaction that words could have. I seen the impact that if you use your words in the right way, it could cause this positive reaction within human beings. And that was such a powerful thing to me. So that's what got it started for me, man. My sister bringing those hip hop CDs into the crib, and then also, man, like a couple of friends of mine in elementary school, God bless the dead, Josh Lewis and my man Jason Monk. They was the 2 dudes that battled me, and they forced me into being a rapper. And like I said, once I seen that reaction, it was no better feeling. That's what I wanted to do with the rest of my life.
Dope. And talk about briefly what it was like growing up in Flint. We know Flint as in its height, like Motor City, one of the bastions of, the steel industry, the auto industry, and then all the jobs left. Talk about what it was like to grow up in the aftermath of all the major companies moving away, and what that was like growing up in Flint.
Well, it's kind of like you gradually was watching the city just turn into one big ghetto, like 1 year at a time. It wasn't, when I was a kid, it was nicer parts of Flint. I can remember, staying outside all times of the night and just playing basketball and kicking it and laughing with my friends, riding my bike around the neighborhood and my mom's not having to worry about where I was at or what I was doing, because the neighborhood was still, even though it was the hood, it was always the hood, but I feel like it was the hood from Friday. Like, you know what I'm saying? The movie Friday.
Right.
It was the hood, but it was still, everybody knew everybody. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no immediate danger, or the dudes that was stirring up trouble or whatever. My mom's kind of knew who they was and used to sit them on the porch and try to talk to them. But it's like, so my childhood was very dope. I love my childhood growing up in Flint, but it was like gradually like you said, when the jobs start leaving, you start seeing that humor or that sense of pride, or you start seeing that good nature that Flint always had in it, even though we was always the hood. It's like you start seeing that leave, and the vibe of like hopelessness. You start seeing more abandoned buildings, abandoned schools. All of the schools started shutting down. When I was in school, it was mad high schools here in Flint. Now it's only like 2 left. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
It's only, so it's like gradually you just started watching it, turn into the way it is now, where, I remember bringing a director here to shoot a video. He was from New York, and he was driving around my neighborhood, and he was like, man, this look like a movie set. This don't even seem real. Like, because that's like Flint definitely is parts of Flint that look like third world countries, man. And it's sad to see, because it's my home. So that's why it's so important for me to spread hope through the music. I'm never going to perpetuate like, killing is cool or selling dope is cool, or, you know what I'm saying? Talking down about women. I just can't do that, because I grew up in that environment, and I see what that mindset does to the people. I seen what that type of mindset does to the environment, and ultimately it's just, it's just not a good thing at the end of the day. So it's rough for me, because with the music, I'm doing my best to try to bring attention to Flint and bring attention to the mentality, and try to spread some type of positive energy, man, so we can turn things back around, man.
Do you think, in considering, what Michigan has been to hip hop in general, i.e., Detroit, Flint, when you think about where Michigan is as far as how the struggle is there, having to, like you said, kind of turn certain stereotypes around, it seems like at times, even in Detroit, the damn mayor went to jail. Like all of these things that tend to go on in Michigan that creates this idea that nobody cares. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you were saying, through your hip hop, addition, to what you're trying to do you feel like that's important? And if so, why?
So the question is, do I feel like through my form of hip hop? I'm just making sure I answer the question.
Yeah. Like, through your contributions, do you feel like it's very important, considering the state that you live in, considering, all the things that, the world may see from Michigan? Michigan has been in the headlines for a long period of time. And it would seem like a lot of people, even within Michigan, have given up on Michigan, i.e. maybe, the city going bankrupt of Detroit, and, people not giving a damn about the water, and actually going out here and allowing, the government is even, allowing certain things to transpire at the expense of the people. Do you feel like it's important to be that change, to be that different perspective? And if so, why?
Absolutely. I feel like it's important, because I think that's what we're here to do. I'm a very spiritual person. I believe that we all got gifts. I believe that the Creator, the Most High, gives us all gifts. And I feel like those gifts are supposed to be used for the greater good. We ain't put here to be selfish. We're not put here to just be self-serving. The way that you truly, get a comprehension of what love is when you use your gift for the greater good of, other people. And when you focus on the greater good. So, if my gift is music, and I have, the gift of using these words and being heard by people, I think that that's all I'm supposed to use it for, is to help other people. And whatever financial gain comes out of that, that's cool. Whatever notoriety comes out of that is cool. But honestly, like, for me, it's most important to put truth into my music, so that some younger kid can listen to it and don't feel hopeless. You know what I'm saying? So that they can put their all into their goals, and not have to become a product of their environment. You know what I'm saying? If all, little kids are like, little computers, and they just there to receive information, And however, whatever information they're receiving from those around them is what they'll grow up and become, or that's what they'll grow up and justify their behavior with. You know what I mean? So
Right.
for me, it's like I want to be at least, I'm just one person, but it's like, I take on that responsibility since my gift is music, and music is a part of everything that we do. I take that full responsibility in making sure that I'm saying something that helps a kid know that they can reach their dream, and they don't have to become a product of their environment. They don't gotta be in the trap. They don't gotta degrade women. They don't gotta do all that. You don't have to do all of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I do take that as a personal responsibility, because like you said, nobody else is showing that they care. The Flint
Right.
water crisis, that was the buzzworthy hashtag for like 2 months, and then everybody forgot about it. Well, I'm in Flint right now, and the water's still messed up. I took a shower in it a couple months ago, and I started breaking out. That's real. This is me, Jon Connor, telling you that. That's not the news. That's not, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying it because it's cool, because it's for the moment cause. Like, okay, this is real people's lives that are affected by this. So in my music, I have to keep talking about the Flint water crisis because it's still going on, because my mother still lives in a neighborhood where that's very prevalent, where that's her reality, where that's the reality of my friends, my family members or whatever. And we're just dealing with it, but ain't nobody talking about it. So think about that on top of the coronavirus. Think about that. The pandemic is going on top of the fact that the water is making us break out and there's lead in it and all that other type of stuff. So nobody's talking about that. So I feel like I have to speak on that, So I feel like hip hop should be a reflection of the times that we living in. And I believe that, you know what I'm saying? So for me, that's what my music will always be. My music will always be a time capsule of whatever we was going through as a people, as a society at that time. So I definitely feel like it's my responsibility to shine a light on the issues that we going through.
This go sit your ass down somewhere and shut up moment has been brought to you by my brother from another mother, representing that FLAINT.
Man, it's love, man. It's
Dope.
love.
My brother Jon Connor is joining the show tonight, man. And man, like, you just dropped some bombs. I mean, for real, the idea of accountability and responsibility sometimes is an undertaking of a path that maybe is less traveled. At the end of the day, it is difficult to decide, all right, well, I see what my city's going through. I see what my state is going through. I see how they're treating our people. And in the midst of all of what you described, we're still getting killed, shot, beaten, all of what's going on. It just seems like nobody cares. And, it's this whole idea of, let me get this money.
Yeah. We live in such a self-serving, selfish world now. You know what I'm saying? We really do. We really do. And I try not to be that at all. Like, I try to be as selfless as humanly possible. We are all supposed to be vessels to serve each other. That's the way that you understand love. That's the way that you can better understand God and our relationship with the universe. Try helping somebody else for no reason, and there's a feeling of peace and love and happiness that you're going to feel that you won't get from no money, you won't get from sex, you won't get from whatever fame, you won't get from likes and mention. Just go help somebody or do something good or positive to somebody, and it'll make you feel better than all of that stuff put together. That's what I live for. That's what my music is for. At the end of the day, like, I just want somebody to be able to be a better person or inspire them to think a different way after something I said, man.
Dope, and dope. Now, as you were growing up in Flint and you knew this was getting serious for you, and you were saying, okay, well, boom, I want to do this the rest of my life. Talk about the moment that things took a turn for, where it put you in another echelon, if you will. Was that putting an album out? Was that getting signed to Aftermath? What were some of the things? What was it? Was it the Cypher on BET? I remember seeing that Cypher, and I was like, man, boy, look at him.
Thank you, man.
We got some lyricists out here still. It was just a good look for hip hop that particular year, and hearing all of you guys just do what you did. But what was that moment for you? I know my introduction to you was the Cypher.
Mm-hmm.
But what was that to you, that breakout moment for you? When did you feel, okay, this is getting crazy now?
As far as music, when did it start getting crazy?
Right.
My journey is so crazy, bruh. I can't really say that there was one defining moment, because I think that my journey, everything that has ever happened to me, it was a gradual, slow progression. So, everything to me happened as it was supposed to. Like, when I first started, I was grinding by myself. Then there was a fork in the road where I met my former partner and manager, ex-basketball player, Mateen Cleaves. And
man, shout out to Mateen Cleaves, man.
Yes, absolutely, man. Go Spartans, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And also at the same time, meeting former Def Jam executive Kendall Young Sad Freeman, who was at one point, he was the vice president of Maybach Music. So I meet them. That was one fork in the road. But then even in that, we had to keep grinding. We was putting out mixtape every 2 months. And then the Cypher happened, and that was another fork in the road. And you keep grinding, and you keep grinding, you keep grinding. Then the Aftermath thing happens, but then you keep grinding. Then you get on the Dre album, So it's like, I don't know that there has been one defining moment as far as because everything was such a gradual progression. It's not like my life or my career or anything for me ever happened. Like one thing happened and boom, my life changed. It was like, nah,
right.
It was an abundance of things that led up to things that led up to more things that led up to more things. So I'm just grateful for all of those things, because they were all lessons. And my life is like, I remember one time, man, when I first met Nas, right? Nas told me something that, rings more and more true to me every year that I breathe air and live life. He said, you don't ever want to be that dude that goes from 0 to 100. He said, because it's steps 1 through 99 that teaches you how to deal with level 100. So if you never dealt with all of the stuff in the middle, by the time you get to level 100, you're going to lose your mind, because you're not prepared. You don't know how to deal with it. So it's like, for me, man, I don't know. I don't think it was like one thing that ever happened that just shot me into everybody's awareness or anything like that. And even now, like starting my own company and being the executive producer of my own company now, that's a whole nother grind, where it's like, okay, grind, and then something amazing is gonna happen, but then you keep grinding, and you just keep grinding until you get to more amazing moments, man. So for me, it wasn't one thing. It was just my grind and my journey itself that kind of always led to other things that led to other things.
Well, that's a beautiful answer, because like you said, for every particular person, there is a particular catalyst, if you will. Mm-hmm. Some are combined catalysts, some are, one catalyst, that is observant. You're basically describing what it is to be observant of one's life, and that you take it all in. And it's a beautiful thing to acknowledge those things, because, the world sometimes does seem like a lot of noise. Or a blur, if you will. And it's hard to sometimes, kind of capture or take pictures, snapshots of all these particular moments. And you hear it all the time. Shit, I don't need nobody, or, I did this all myself, which is an amazing and idiotic statement in and of itself.
Yeah.
It describes a godless world in which the access of certain jewels allows you to not need anyone, which that's horrible. And that bought you that. Who wants that?
Yeah, for real, man.
I don't even want that,
but we all need each other in this life thing, man.
Right. I want to buy stuff that requires other people, not being lonely, not being distrustful. But once again, you describe it beautifully to a T. This is what the people need to hear, in a real way of how one can go through his life and actually take pictures.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that, man.
You
Thank
know, so with that said, what was it like to work with the legend Dr. Dre and hear his take on, you know, because I've seen a few pictures of you in front of that board, in front of that SSL board, and what was it like here? You know, because he never went to school for any of that shit.
Right.
He learned by sitting in front of that board and becoming that sonic machine. Even before you could get to the music sonically, it just sounds a certain way. Compton is considered one of the most sonically sound albums ever, damn near, up there with Nirvana. You know, what was that like, you know, working within that construct and seeing how he did what he did?
It was I always compare it to, it was like college, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like
Right.
it was like being in college every day. Like, whatever you thought you knew before you got there, that it got turned upside down and on its head. You know what I mean? Like, being able to sit under the learning tree and get wisdom and get information from somebody who is so knowledgeable. Like, you know, watching him be the hardest working person in the room, like being willing to sit there in the studio from 3 PM to like 7 o'clock in the morning till the sun come up, and he's intensely like focused on doing what we got to do. You know, I learned a lot like from being at Aftermath. I learned a lot from him, just those sonic jewels that you're talking about, like his little Dre secrets and how he record that now is my normality. Like, I don't know how to record without doing it that way, because for 5 years I had to do things that way. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it was just like just watching the him still have that love and that passion for music after everything that he's accomplished, still having like a love for the music and still caring about quality and caring about, you know what I'm saying, putting your best foot forward and not taking shortcuts with the music. There's like just so many like just gems, like being around that dude, and so many just timeless conversations that for the rest of my life I'll always be able to reference and go back to help me in my journey. But you know, it was Aftermath was definitely a learning experience. I call it Aftermath University, man. I got my diploma from Aftermath University, and now everything that I learned from Dre and sitting up over there is everything that I'm going to try to instill in my company, All Varsity Music Group, man, from being in the studio and recording, even on the business end. Or, you know, that was Aftermath was my first time like really learning the music business on the business side as well as the creative side. So everything that I went through, you know, I'm a living, walking, breathing testimony. You know, everything that I ever went through is so somebody else can learn from what I've done or what I've went through or my experiences. So I'm just putting everything that I learned from sitting over there into my company, All Varsity Music Group. But it was some of the coolest times and coolest experiences I've ever went through being over there, man. It was tough times because that Dre don't play no games when it come down to the music, but I loved every second of it as far as being in that studio and being able to soak up wisdom, man.
Man, talk about that. If there's a trick that you could reveal for all my gear and tech heads out here, what's the one trick on that SSL board that maybe somebody may not even have realized that is like, dude, if you just do that, boom, you're like, it takes you on, you know, something that stood out to you that you were like, really? It was because you, like you said, you went to Full Sail, and I believe at that time they still had SSL boards.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll keep it real with you, man. Dre said something to me that my father always said, because my father's a musician as well, right? But they had one thing in common when it came to music. If I'm gonna like just say any secret from over there, is a lot of things. Dre is not so much technical as he is a feeling person. Music is feelings. That's why I never wanted to be classically trained in music, because I feel like once you start learning music theory, you'll start overthinking things about what what fits in the box of what notes are supposed to, or what transitions can work from the perspective of. And then if you start learning things from like a technical aspect, or like from a black and white, like just I read this in a book and I'm supposed to turn this up a couple dBs. And if I do, man, music is a feeling. Music is what it come from the soul. It come from your heart. So a lot of things that I seen Dre do, and I hope whoever watched this take this in, because I be hearing people, it'd be funny to me. I don't talk about Dre like a lot in interviews and stuff like that, because for one, I don't like to like, I don't never want to seem like that dude to like name drop or some shit like that. But it's like
right.
a part of my history. So, you know, it's cool that you asked about it. But it's like when I see people like speak about Dre, it'd be funny to me, man. And and people that like ain't never met him or been around him, because they'll be like sitting there bugging in their mind, like, I know Dre did this because of this. And if you know, man, Dre be doing stuff off of feeling. Like when he's in the studio and he's sitting in front of the board, every record is different because he feels different about each record. So there's not like a Dre template of mixing that, you know what I'm saying, like on every record he does this. No, everything Dre do as far as mixing or music or what records he picking for somebody or what inspires him about each artist is different. I remember one time he told me, I can't make an Eminem album if I'm in a Snoop Dogg state of mind. And what that means is, okay, when he doing something for Snoop, he's in a Snoop feel. He's taking in Snoop's feelings, emotions. When he's working with Eminem, now he's completely in an Eminem state of mind. When he's doing that, when he's working with Jon Connor, he's in a Jon Connor state of mind. So what that means as far as mixing, you're not going to mix a Snoop record like you're going to mix an Eminem record. You're not going to mix an Eminem record like you're going to mix a Jon Connor record. So everything has to be a feeling. You got to feel that shit. And I can't stress that to people enough when they be trying to like crack the code of what makes Dre's mixes this or that.
Well, no, but you just cracked the damn code.
Yeah.
You just confirmed the obvious, which is hip hop in its conception had no rules.
No rules, man. And see, there you just said it. We talking about somebody who was the architect to a whole sound. So
Right.
he comes from that, what you just said.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So he still lives that to this day. Like,
right.
No matter
there is no rules.
Yeah, no matter what the rest of the industry doing, he just doing what he feel. And
Right.
so that's one thing too. When I'm in the studio, I learn to never question or second guess my feelings or my emotions or whatever the case may be. If it makes me feel good, or if I'm making a record that's supposed to make people cry and I tear up, then it's right. It don't matter what some mix engineer tell me. No. The way it sounds right now made my eyes water, so that means it's right. If I'm making a record that's supposed to make people dance and somebody come down in the studio and they hear the record and first thing they do is start dancing, that's it. It's done. The record is done. It made people dance. That's what I was trying to do. Like, that's it. That's it. When people start overthinking and second guessing, your first thought is your God thought. So you should always follow your first mind. Anything else is a distraction and it's only there to confuse you. You know what I'm saying? That means, you when you get to second guessing or whatever, I don't even know what that is because I go with my first mind all the time. But I just want to tell people, your first mind is your God thought. Follow that. If the record makes you feel the way you intended when you wrote it, then it ain't no reason to question it. Then it's done. Move on to the next record.
This Go Sit Your Ass Down Somewhere moment has been brought to you by Jon Connor.
That's love, man. Thank you.
Man.
That's truth, man.
Well, that's what truth is supposed to do. It's supposed to sit your ass down somewhere
That's
and
love.
listen. And talk about this, all varsity project you got going on.
Well, yeah, All Varsity Music Group, man. That's the name of my company. This is the first time I've been the sole executive producer of my own company. You know what I'm saying? Doing it the independent way, which is what I came up doing. I love the independent grind. That's why I call myself the people's rapper, because we just leaning on the fact that we believe in good music and we trying to make the best quality of music that we possibly can. We ain't got no big machine pushing our music or forcing our music down people's throat. Like we doing it the old fashioned way. If people like it, we hope that word of mouth is gonna take off and people support what we do. But yeah, All Varsity Music Group. I'm the executive producer. Shouts to my A&R, Big Steve Claybrook. Shouts out to my assistant Lindsay Ayotte, you know what I'm saying, who helped me put everything together. But my artist Ace Cabana, his project is coming out this summer. It's called Moonwater. I produced it from top to bottom. It got a couple other producers on there. I can't front. Nigel Sanders, my man Kalen Dixon, my little cousin Shogun got a joint on there. But this is like Ace's project is the first time I'm gonna be in a. It's funny, we were just talking about Dre. Like I've always wanted to be a L.A. Reid, a Dr. Dre, Quincy Jones. Like so, Ace's project is my first time of stepping away from being just an artist or just producing for myself and sitting here with another artist from top to bottom and going through their whole project. But the AVMG thing, just to sum it up and not, because I could get long-winded, but just to make a long story short, we got 7 projects dropping, starting probably next month. There's The Best in the World, the Nas tape that I just got finished, SOS 2 that's coming out after that. There's the Road to Legendary documentary. It's a 5-part docuseries that's coming out that's going to tell y'all my whole story from when I was in high school to when I got signed to Aftermath, to me leaving Aftermath and starting my own company. And then we're also going to be re-releasing my old underground projects to streaming sites. After that, Ace Cabana Moonwater is coming. Then I did a project with my man Teezy. He co-hosts the show Swerve City Podcast. Shouts to my man Isaiah Swerve over at WWE. But me and Teezy, we did a 8-track project inspired by pro wrestling because I've always been a nerd for pro wrestling. So we did an 8-track project called War. It's coming out. And I'm actually going to Florida next month to shoot the video with it. Video for it with Charlotte Flair. It's gonna be super dope. After that, you from the South, so you know who Beats by the Pound is. You gotta know.
Oh yeah, you already know.
So, Beats by the Pound, man, who they produced all of the legendary joints for No Limit. Me and my big homie KLC, who was the lead producer for No Limit, he produced Down for My Hitters. He produced Move by Ludacris. He produced just so many. Make Them Say I Got the Hook Up, all the big No Limit records. Me and him got an album coming out called 24, and he produced all of the joints on there. Then after that, we got Jon Connor Delirium coming out. And then after that, what else? Did I miss anything? Me and Ace got a project together called Stark Parker that's coming. So we just dropping projects after projects, man, giving y'all that consistency, giving people good music, and just giving people an alternative. I think right now there's a lot of Flint artists that's popping right now, and we all kind of came up together. But I think they're like the artists from Flint that are popping right now and that are coming up. It's like they're telling Flint's story from one perspective, and all I want All Varsity Music to do is be able to tell Flint and Michigan's story from a different perspective. I just want people to have options. I think, I don't have a problem with people's music, man, or what they talking about, but I think it should be balanced. I just believe in balance. So All Varsity Music Group is just here to give people balance, man.
Man, that's dope. And you just described what our plight is down here in Orlando. Same itinerary. We want to give people balance, allow people to decide for themselves.
Decide for yourself, yes.
And hear the story in a wide angle. And for a lot of what hip hop is, and I said before we came on, you posted something today that the corporate footprint, the money stream that is, or the money machine that is the industry, continues to pump out this one particular perspective.
Right.
It's just one perspective. If it ain't about this, then the sentiment, if you will, is that it's nothing. And which is crazy because you rarely get to see, even in other platforms, where these particular perspectives are necessarily celebrated. We just had the Grammys not too long ago, and Nas, deservingly so, I think overdue, if you will, finally gets his first Grammy. But if you listen to that album, I mean, he's talking about the shit that needs to be talked about right now.
That's a fact.
You just put it on some, more modern music. But I don't think Nas really changed more than, he might have changed maybe a few patterns. Outside of that, it's still Nas.
Yeah,
it's still what he's talking about, and he hasn't compromised his particular outlook. Do you think artists, out here, would benefit by knowing that? Well, sometimes, to your point, it's not necessarily, this one perspective that, because for a lot of people, they want to get into rap music and they want to do what everybody else is doing. But, that road that Nas is on is not really a populated road at all. He took a lot of risks doing that. Just like Kendrick Lamar took a lot of risks. Just like J. Cole took a lot of risks. You would think people would celebrate it even more because there's not much of it. But what say you about that?
Balance is needed. When I came up listening to hip hop, man, it was almost corny if you sound too much like another artist. I came up in a day where nobody sounded alike. Like Nas didn't sound like Jay-Z. Jay-Z didn't sound like DMX. DMX didn't sound like Master P. And think about that. The first people that I'm naming, they all from the same city and same state. So think about that. It was times that New York had a sound, but the MCs didn't sound alike. Like Jay didn't sound like DMX. DMX didn't sound like Busta Rhymes. Busta Rhymes didn't sound like Biggie. Biggie didn't sound like Noriega. Noriega didn't, like, it was like even within your own city, you took pride in having your own style and having different things that you talked about. You know what I'm saying? Even in New Orleans, like No Limit didn't sound like Cash Money. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you look at Texas, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you look at all of these different...
Yeah, the Ghetto Boys didn't sound like UGK.
Exactly. You feel me?
Oakland, Too Short didn't sound like the Hieroglyphics.
Exactly.
Digital Underground didn't sound like Young MC.
You feel me?
They all had their own spaces, and even within the boroughs, like you were talking about with New York, if you really listen to New York hip hop, Brooklyn sounds different than the Bronx.
Exactly. Harlem sound different than Queens.
Right.
Queens sound different than Staten Island. And you know what? I just want to, get a game to whoever watching this, man. Like, find your own style. Be an individual. Because the thing is, if all of y'all sound the same, they can get rid of you and replace you just as easy because it's another dude that sounds just like you that's ready to get a record deal waiting just around the corner. So it's like, be irreplaceable. Make yourself irreplaceable by being yourself. Right. It's not like you're going to find your fan base that's going to rock with whatever it is that you do by just being yourself. If you like it, I guarantee you it's going to be people in each state that like what you do. I've heard music that's terrible, but it's some people that got a fan base. Art, this is all art that we doing. What's good to me might not be good to you. What's good to him might not be good for him. What she likes, she might not like. So by everybody trying to do the same thing, you robbing yourself of how beautiful this music thing is supposed to be. Follow your instincts, follow your heart, do what it is that's in your heart, make the music that you want to make. And there's going to be people that gravitate toward you and what you like and what you think sounds good. And when you do that, you're going to have a fan base of people that will stay loyal to you for life. If you chasing what somebody else is doing, your fan base not going to be loyal to you. They loyal to that sound. So once that sound not popping no more, you not popping no more. So now you got to go back and try to rebuild, recreate yourself, find a new trend, find a new swag to jump on. But if you'd have just stayed yourself the whole time, you ain't got to try to find a new swag because you is what got you there. Your swag, your decision making, your instincts on the music that you like. That's what got you there. And that's what people are going to fall in love with. But if you stay trying to find what's popping at the time, then you're going to constantly be chasing something your whole career and you're never going to feel fulfilled. And you're constantly going to live in fear of what am I going to do when this sound dies out? So figure out who you are and do that. That's all. And that's why the artists on my label, when people ask me what I look for in an artist, individuals, I'm just looking for people that know who they are and know how to express that on the mic. And all my job is to help water that seed and watch them grow and become superstars. So it's like, that's all, man. Like, I feel like hip hop need balance. I'm not tripping on trap rappers. I ain't tripping on like the dudes that be putting a little comedic shit in their music. Okay, that's good, but everybody shouldn't be doing that. It's like, everybody don't feel the same way all the time. Where are those songs at? Okay, we got the club on lock. Cardi B, Migos, Lil Baby, The Baby, all of those people, they got the club on lock. So who's making the music that you're supposed to listen to when you have a breakup? Who's making that music that you're going to listen to when you feel as a black person, you running into injustice? Who's making that music that when you having a bad day with your girl? Who's making that music about the abused wife? You know what I'm saying? Who telling her story? Because that's still going on. Who's making the music for that dude that's struggling with a drug problem and he need a song to talk him out of that bad habit? Who making them songs? So the thing is, that's what I get passionate about when it comes to music. Yeah, we need balance. Not because I hate trap rap or not because I hate mumble rap or whatever. My issue with it is if everybody's talking about the same thing, for one, we're pushing a narrative to the youth where they're going to feel like in order for them to be successful, they have to diminish and demean their own people, which I think that's corny. And also what we're doing is we're taking away the fact that music can be the therapy that helps somebody through a bad situation. If we all just keep making music about sipping lean and having the burner in the trap and all of that, okay, we done heard that story. That's all of our story that grew up in the hood. But talk to me about when your father left, how that made you feel. Talk to me about them times when you had to watch your mama work a job by herself as a single parent. How did that make you feel? How about you use your power and your influence to talk to that kid that's going through a similar situation that you did? That's what my thing is with music, man.
Man, where do I begin? Number one, he literally just dropped a careless one line. You got to have style and learn to be original, or everybody's going to want to diss you. Okay. Mm-hmm. Number two, he discussed how listening to one thing without balance, quoting my brother Jay from X-Clan, a narrow-minded man makes stone seem soft. And that is why listening to one perspective, one point of view, one rationale, one reason is enough to live in fear.
Fact.
If you don't have any other perspective, if this is the only story, if it's only about making money and stripping women and doing these things, and if it's only about that, without any context, yeah, that's a fucked up place to live. That's
absolutely,
like I don't get a break from that. I can't go eat some food and get a break from that.
Right.
I can't go chill out with my kids and get a break from that. If I'm not 100% just about that, what kind of life is that? But to be fair, it requires a state of courage in which monetary accolades may not be the reward. And to your point, to quote yet OC, he said, I'd rather have somebody's respect, and it's the principle of it, to hear someone. I'd rather be broke and have a whole lot of respect for someone to hear that got me through maybe not committing suicide, or maybe not, doing what everybody wants me to do, and that's go to jail for killing somebody, stop me. And music is that powerful. And I just wanted to touch on another thing that you described, which are feelings. Now you hear this all the time with people. You and your feelings. And the idea of music sometimes is to escape those feelings. What say you about this world that we're living in which, And really, back to the money. In order to live in this kind of money, it's all about money. It's all about, rewards, meaning, sex, drugs, buddy, club, no responsibility, no accountability, money, 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 which for an argument can be made doesn't require feelings. It requires you to be numb. And you hear this all the time, like people make fun of you. Why are you in your feelings? And everything that you describe, which makes music important, are the feelings. Hearing somebody that went through something. We just lost several MCs who at maybe particular points of their lives, had went through something and were maybe quiet about it or just continue to go through it and work through it. But still, to your point, we're helping people. DMX is one of them. Regardless of what he was going through, he was out there helping people, praying for people. We never seen him with chains and none of this stuff. None of the stuff that he was surrounded by. He was just, all out trying to live through how he felt. So what say you about that alternative argument that people are in their feelings and that it shouldn't music, it shouldn't be about that, man. Niggas don't want to hear that shit when they go to the club.
Man.
You hear, you know what I'm saying? Like, you hear this all the time.
Absolutely.
I want to be thinking.
Man, music.
I want to be feeling.
Yeah, and see, that's what's crazy. It's like, what are we turning into? What type of cyborg?
Right.
Like, what are we turning into? The beauty about being a human is feelings. You know what I'm saying? And music is supposed to be an outlet. That type of mentality of like that's the type of mentality that make grown black men afraid to cry and shit. And instead of them crying out their problems, they end up beating their girlfriend or something stupid like that. You know what I'm saying?
Or killing their reflection.
You feel
killing ourselves, looking at each other. Oh, I hate you, but that's really projecting their hatred for themselves.
Absolutely.
And this idea of sometimes wanting things that are completely impossible in lieu of not wanting to need what doesn't, like you were saying earlier, doesn't make you feel comfortable. Like sometimes maybe in a world of people telling you you're a bitch, or you act like a little bitch, and like you said, being afraid to cry, being afraid to talk to each other without feeling like this person got some dirt on you because you're going through something, or the normal stuff that we as humans deal with on a regular basis, sometimes more than not. And, the reactions that we all tend to have from it that we dismiss.
It's crazy. Listen, I am an advocate for everybody needs therapy. Everybody, every human being on this planet need to go to therapy, dog. Like straight up, all of us are a combination of a bunch of traumatic experiences that happened to us when we were young, before we even knew how to deal with or react to certain things. And then we grow up, and based off of these traumatic experiences, we start treating people a certain way. We start having a hardened heart. We start putting up a shield and a force field around who we really are because we afraid that somebody's going to hurt us, or we act in a certain way. We scared to show vulnerability because last time we showed vulnerability, somebody took advantage of it. So now we're going to act this way towards somebody else. And it's really crazy. So not being in tune with our feelings is the last thing we need to be doing as a human society. We all need to get in tune with our feelings. The thing is, we need to learn how to have the discipline to not make negative decisions based off of our feelings. You need to deal with your feelings. You need to look, you need to come face to face with your feelings every day so that you don't take out these things that you going through on the inside out, so that you don't take out that anger on other people. So you have to get into your feelings so you can address them, but it's about having the discipline to not act out on other people because of those feelings. So it's like music helps you deal with that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know why or how we got to a point where having feelings or being able to recognize or identify your emotions is such a bad thing, because it's ridiculous. That's the reason, like you said, that's the reason why people out here killing each other. That's the reason why dudes out here cheating, because they feel like they can't tell their emotions to their girl. That's why women out here cheating, because they feel like they can't open up to their man. That's why dudes is out here in the trap and slanging, because they seen their big brother do it and they feel like that's what's gonna make them a man, and they didn't have nobody that they could open up to. It's really crazy, man. Like, it's really crazy, the dynamic of what we are going through as people. So what's my opinion on, like, people saying don't nobody want to hear that, da, 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 da. The guy that probably said that to you, he's hiding behind emotions. The guy that told you, like, oh man, don't nobody want to hear that, he do want to hear that. He probably just felt like you wouldn't feel like he was a man, or that made him more of a man by saying that to you. You feel me? He's hiding behind his emotion. He's hiding.
That part.
You feel me?
That part. And the idea of not having feelings. Like, I was talking to this person not too long ago, and he was a scientist. And he was just, he was just talking about the idea of there not being a God. And I was like, okay, that's his right to feel that way. And that's cool. And he said, well, logically, and, the numbers and this and that. So it led to me asking a question to him, in which, so since we're all about numbers, how do you feel about living in a world that's based on numbers? Because when numbers are working for everyone, everyone's celebrating. Like when that damn check came in, what was that? The
1,400 stimulus.
Right. When those numbers came in, it was everything. Everyone's celebrating. When that unemployment comes in, celebrating. When them COVID numbers come in, that shit is cold-blooded.
Yeah.
And when the numbers are in subtract and divide mode, they don't give a fuck about you, and they don't give a fuck about me. And when the numbers say, hey, we only got this amount of food supply, X amount of people need to go. Well, if we're living in a world based on numbers, well, then that's what that is. It's not going to care if it's your daughter that's included in those numbers. Nobody's going to care about what you want to live in. A fact-based world, and facts are cool until those facts no longer support you.
Fact. You know what? I want to say something too.
Go ahead, my brother.
That you triggered in my brain when you said, dude said he wanted to talk about logic and facts, right?
Right, just facts, numbers, logic world that people are like, everyone's like celebrating, like we're heading towards this equality in those particular aspects. Because, and I just want, and I want to hold that thought, because I want to put it just a little bit more in context. Mm-hmm. Love is not logical.
Come on now.
Love is not logical. It has nothing to do with logic, facts, science. You
going where I was about to go.
Right. Empathy, forgiveness, these are illogical things, have no support in math. None of the things that are actually real in allowing people to live well-founded lives.
Facts. Can I chime in?
Yes, please, my brother.
Dog, you just said it. Because what I was gonna say is, like, think about that. And everybody can believe what they want to believe. I don't get into religious arguments or debates. I like to have discussions with people. But what I was gonna say is, bro, the fact that we exist right now is not logical. What is a soul?
Right.
A soul, bro. Like, this the type of things that I'll be thinking about, right? Think about it. If I have sex with a woman, I'm sorry, for all the kids out there, y'all about to get a little lesson real quick. I don't know if your parents talked to you about this yet, but if I have sex with a woman, we can make a baby that has a soul. How is that possible? How is that logical? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so to me, nothing about this existence that we in is logical. Right. So when people start trying
nothing that requires you to live, meaning live, not die, because the idea of math and facts is certain death. you live with death. Like you spend your years on a planet in a factual, mathematical, logical, systematical world where there's no room for empathy, forgiveness, love, anything that's illogical. You spend your life dying.
Yeah.
Everything's predisposed. In a loving, empathetic, forgiving, caring, purposeful life, everything's up in the air. Anything can happen. There's no rules. There's actually plenty of room for anything to exist.
Yeah.
That is beyond everyone's understanding and comprehension. But yet we're wanting to live in this world that's just strictly based on money, facts, research. And, to your point, the birthing of a baby, they still don't have no conclusive evidence on any of it. They're still, they only know that this and this happened. So let's provide a way for
None
that.
of it, bro. Think about that, man. Like, that's crazy. Inside of a woman, bones, lungs, eyes, ears, a brain forms inside of this woman, bro.
Right.
Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, that is insane to me. Like, something from me can fertilize her that makes a whole ass human with a personality, with a
whole different purpose,
whole
different trajectory.
You feel me, bro?
Right. A whole different universe of thought.
Exactly. It's like, bro, how? Like, to me, so when people get to talking about like logic and truth when it comes to this life thing, I'll be like, man, you a long ways away from figuring it out, bro, because like what it says, man.
Well, that's a cold world is the thing. That is a cold world. Where mercy doesn't exist. Where love and empathy doesn't exist. Where, someone forgiving you or forgiving themselves. Math is telling them, don't do that. Don't do that. It's not logical.
Man,
don't do it.
Nothing is like, man, I'm a faith-based person. Everything that has ever happened to me, all of the cool shit that people like look at me and like people like yourself will make y'all want to like have conversations with me. The cool things in my life that have happened came from faith. Dog, I didn't meet Dr. Dre on no logical shit. Like, bro, that happened because, dog, that happened because this about to get crazy, bro. I didn't know Exhibit, bro. His son heard my music. Exhibit's son heard my music. Just scrolling through different hip hop blog sites. Told Exhibit about my music. Exhibit has the idea years later to tell Dre about my music, and then Dre, bro, that's not logical. Before that, I didn't know Exhibit. I didn't know Dre. There was no foreseeable way that a kid from Flint would end up working with Dr. Dre. Everything in my life that has ever happened for me happened because of faith and things that people would say aren't logical. So when people start talking about logic to me, man, I kind of tune out because it's like, nah, like
and you said that earlier. I don't mean to interrupt you, but you said it earlier. You said that's the reason why I didn't want to learn classically, because had I learned classically, it would have taught me order. And how to remain in a box. And you like the freedom of gathering things that may not necessarily have a space in someone's particular learning. Like you could have maybe put that in a book and sell it for $59.99, but you could learn from it. And it was meant for you to learn that way. And that's what I'm saying, like this idea or the premise or the notion that people would like to rather live in a world where everything is so kind of choreographed and put in someone's face. Okay, if you don't have money, I ain't fucking with you. If you don't do this, I'm not fucking with you. If you fuck up, I'm not fucking with you. All of these parameters and boxes and little walls we put up as a means to answer questions that have completely no answers to them.
Period.
We generate these fake answers in order for us to feel like that's living when we're actually, how many people do you know, man, who have probably tons of money and don't trust the fucking shadow on the wall.
Facts. I met those people.
Cold-blooded. Like everything they look at is through the eye of a stone. They're just fucking, miserable people.
That's a fact.
Who have all these possessions and have become the very possessions in which they've acquired.
That's a fact. You said it.
And the universe is very funny about that. I hear people say all the time, and I'm going to pose it to you too. I hear people say all the time, yo, dog, I got to keep my circle small, man. I'm like, dude, that shit is ridiculous. Like, what a lonely, that's like living on the moon, motherfucker. And the moon is dead. Anywhere there's a bigger circle, there might be life. The sun is huge. That motherfucker's alive.
Facts, man.
Like, how the hell do we get to this point that I gotta keep my circle small?
Out of fear. Out of fear.
I'm on an asteroid.
Like you said, though, but everybody has these traumatic experiences, and they're basing future relationships based off past relationships. They're looking at the past instead of looking at the past as a lesson. They're looking at it as something permanent that they base their future off of. So then that makes them miss blessings. No, you're just supposed to learn. Like, just because you meet one bad apple, that don't mean that every person you meet is like that person. That just means you were supposed to learn a lesson about that person and keep it moving. Like, one of my favorite Bible passages, man, is be not conformed to the ways of this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. You know what I'm saying? Everybody keeps conforming to the ways of the world, meaning, okay, somebody fucked me over, so now I don't trust everybody. I had one bad relationship, now I don't mess with women. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like in that situation,
right.
Like,
and everyone's worked that job that as soon as you show up to the job, you hear a motherfucker be like, yeah, man, they used to give us 30-minute breaks. Now it's only 15 because somebody used 30 minutes to go punch somebody. Right, like we never accept that at jobs. No one ever accepts that at jobs. Like, really? One person messed it up for everyone? No, that's not how life should be working.
Period.
Right? But at the same time of what you're saying, which is hilarious, is the idea of, you said it a different way, lean not on your own understanding. I'm one that constantly prefaces my entire life by saying I'm an absolute crazy, insane person. Mm-hmm. Not because that's where I want to be crazy. It's because I acknowledge the idea of me living anything normal is not living. And what is normal? Everyone in the Bible was a complete lunatic.
Yeah.
Everyone in the Quran was a complete lunatic.
Come on.
All of them were loonies and fools who, for some reason, with all of their baggage, God said, come on, Jonah, get out of that whale. I told you where to go the first time. You didn't listen. No, I know nobody gives a damn about what you're doing over here, but it's going to work.
Right, right up.
Right, this idea of being normal, and I think what you're talking about, as far as your projects and your music and what you're trying to do, I think it's crazy, but I think it's a beautiful crazy. I think it's a worthy crazy. I think building those arcs, maintaining the idea of walking through the desert, even when everybody's not coming, it will have its space. It will be remembered. It will be revered, and people will be better for it that you did what you came to do and not do what everybody else wanted you to do.
Come on now. Amen.
So, I don't want to keep you any longer. I mean, we went pretty long, and I think it's a beautiful conversation. But I have one last question to ask you. If you had anything to say to the city of Orlando and beyond, and you had to say one thing, what would it be and why?
This is what I would say to Orlando. First of all, shouts to my cousin Cass Swift, who currently lives in Orlando. You know what I'm saying? And his girl Cassie, and Olivia. It's Nevaeh's birthday. My niece Nevaeh. Happy birthday, Nevaeh.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, little princess. Nevaeh, Olivia, Lil Swift, Camila. Love all of y'all. You know what I'm saying? So what I would say though, I just had to shout them out because they live in Orlando. So I just, hey, what's up, Aunt Gloria, all of y'all.
You already know. Let's go, Hotel.
Yeah. So man, this is what I would say to Orlando. I love Orlando. Orlando was the first city that embraced me. Like I say, for me, when I was coming up in Flint, I wasn't embraced off top like that because my image wasn't that of a D-boy or like I was in the trap or nothing like that. And coming up in Flint, that's what they wanted to hear at that time was just hard trap rap, street rap. And I was giving them something different. And, Orlando was the first place that really kind of made me feel like I had a place or that I wasn't whack, because I remember being in those ciphers, going to the AKA Lounge, you know what I'm saying? And going
to AKA Lounge, shout out. Let's go. Let's go.
You know what I mean? So going to AKA Lounge and I'll shout out some of the cats that was out there with us, man. MIM, I think he was Amethyst at that time.
Let's go.
Shouts to Red Simpkins. Shouts to Cap Callis, who was out there. Shouts to my man Alex Minor. He used to go by the name Gotta Miss Rhyme. Shouts to DJ Dolo. Shouts to DJ White. So it was a lot of good people that I met. So it was a cat out there, David the Dude, who was in Orlando while I was out there. It was, just a lot of cool people that welcomed me with open arms. And I would just like to say, Orlando, I love you. I love you for the good times, the bad times, all of that. I can't even remember no bad times I had in Orlando. So it was just like, that was the first place to really embrace me. Shouts to Full Sail. Shouts to all the kids that's at Full Sail right now chasing that dream. But I know y'all on 24-hour schedules. That's what people, I don't know if it's still like that at Full Sail, but when I went there, it was on a 24-hour schedule. You could end up having a lab at like 4 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock at night. You would have to end up going to class. And shouts to all of the kids at Full Sail that's putting in that work and chasing their dream. And I just want to say, Orlando, I love you dearly. And I'll be in Orlando next month shooting a video for my joint Second Nature with my man Teasy and Charlotte Flair. Shouts to everybody out there in Orlando. I love y'all so much, man. And I'll be in Orlando next month. So I'll be able to tell Orlando I love them to their face, man.
Man, well, yeah, definitely look us up when you're down there, man. We love what you're doing. We love what you've done so far in your career, and we can only expect more greatness from what you're doing. Anytime a brother like yourself has the courage to do what they want to do, that should be celebrated nonstop. And man, it's been an honor to have you on the show, man. You're always welcome on the show. And let us know when you got new stuff coming.
Absolutely, man.
I talked to your manager, and we would like to definitely have one of your artists come on the show as well.
Absolutely. And thank you for that, man. I just want to say thank you for that. And two, before I get out of here too, I just want to say, fun fact, Orlando, one more Orlando fact for y'all about Jon Connor. My first project, The Calling Part 1, was recorded in Orlando in my homeboy Eric's closet. So when we re-released The Calling Part 1, it was recorded all in Orlando in a 1-bedroom apartment. And that was the first project that I ever called myself Jon Connor on. So Orlando officially gave birth to Jon Connor. So that's
dope.
Back for y'all. Shout out to Rude and K Wills, man.
Man, he's been dropping bombs all night. He's gonna continue to drop them with these new releases, man. We love you, man. Stay up, man, and continue to do what you're doing. And when you come down here, man, to shoot that video, let us know. We'd love to support you.
Yeah, come on, man. Absolutely. When I get down there, we'll definitely hit you, man. Maybe we could do another in-person interview or something.
Hey, you already know, man. We love to have it. We love to have it, man. Give it up one time for the one and only, the living legend right now, my man, Jon Connor, representing Ozone and Flint, Michigan. Let's go.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you so much for having me, man.
You already know, man. This is what we do. We bring our people on. Shout out to everybody that tuned in tonight. Shout out to my man Philly. Shout out to Gianna. Shout out to Chris. Shout out to Dalton. Shout out to my man Joe, my man Patrick. Yo, shout out to all of y'all for for being on the check-in tonight, man. It's a great show. We got to talk about some real things like we should be talking about. We got to talk about a lot of beautiful things. Tonight's sponsor of the night is the legendary Jesse Jazz, 5stargraphics.com, legendary DJ, legendary promoter, and legendary graphic art designer in the city. You need printing, go see the man. And our other sponsor of tonight is Red Rum. They got a brand new show coming, brand new album coming out this Friday, and we're going to world premiere one of the singles, Mark of the Beast. You better know it. Shout out to AOD. Shout out to Heist and Flow. You already know, man. It's been an honor having all of you on tonight, man, and just talking about real things with our people. I mean, can't talk about shiny cars, can't talk about money every single moment. So thank you all for joining the social. We will be back tomorrow. Love all y'all. Spread the word. Let everybody know this is the Sound of Orlando. I am your boy Rome, and we love y'all, man. Stay up. Stay up.
Red Rum. 6 million stories in the street. Nigga don't hustle, don't eat. I swam with the sharks and danced with the freaks. Got coke from the Cubans and smoked with the chiefs. Repeat.
Live on stage, the sound.
Orlando.
So, if they ready,
Yes.
the sound.
Orlando. You know.